There are some markets that are just consistent for fraud. There's Vancouver, 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 and Vancouver. It's the hotspot for fraud in the whole world. Then there's Toronto. And what's going on in Canada here is that the Canadian securities regulators are particularly the British Columbia one. There's no national Canadian securities regulator. There's only state ones. And the British Columbia Securities Commission is completely captured by bad people. And so they have prosecuted short sellers for being right? And that's fine. We're not going to ever criticise a Canadian company publicly because we don't trust the regulator to actually do their job. But that allows, their attitude is as long as the victims are south of the border, they don't care, right? So West Vancouver is like the grandest hotspot for penny stock fraud in the world. And it's also the hotspot for mining fraud, etc. There's another mining fraud hotspot in Australia. It's called Perth, right? And Perth is not quite like Vancouver, but it's pretty good. And it's a lovely place to live. And, you know, it's a long way from a regulator, right? It's a long way from anywhere, but, you know, it's a long way from a regulator. There are other well-known hotspots. The AIM market has been full of nasty companies forever and ever and ever. And all that's going on here is low listing standards, right? If you have low listing standards, then the companies that require low listing standards to list will congregate there. So the AIM is nasty. There was a study a while back in the FT which said if you were along the 10 largest stocks in the AIM, equal weighted for years and years, and you just rebalance them your returns are about -8. Right? Right. Now, part of the problem is that we're finding that this is too well known, and so some of the borrow costs on the AIM are 8 or 9. So again, rational after borrow cost, you have to find your own ones. There are lots of hotspots for frauds. My favourite, Boca Raton, is just classic, right? Boca Raton is full of old people, generally rich old people, and people that want to rip them off. And that can be insurance salesmen, medical or financial services. Salt Lake City is the most unlikely hotspot in the world, but it turns out that Salt Lake City is just full of nasty frauds. It's the affinity fraud capital of the world. But it just comes about for the obvious reason, which is Mormons at the age of 18 or 19 go on missions and they sell religion door to door. If you can sell religion door to door, you can sell anything, and you're completely immune to rejection. If you're a financial fraudster, you might get rejected 40 times, but the 41st time has 100% margin.